Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for July 12th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 28. I'm MayorWatt, and I run ohmTown.com, and along with the Sentient AI that's not available today, we talk about, well, some things that are wanted. How about a 19-inch wide Fiat, 14-port Anker to haul on board, a modular keyboard, a new Death Adder Pro gaming mouse, and a mini screwdriver. That's right. These are all things that MayorWatt wants. If you want them too, you can, you can follow the links through ohmTown. Hit !want in the chat, and ohmTown will spit them out into the article, into the chat on Twitch. But on YouTube, they're already embedded in the show notes. Let's get into it. All right, let's get going. The first article, so this is what ohmTown looks like on July 12th. We're in the time machine because my mayoral duties kept me busy on the weekend, and I couldn't do the show on time or even play catch up till today, unfortunately. I'm not sure what's gonna happen in a few weeks when it becomes, when I become incapable of doing the show on the weekends. And it makes it much more difficult to play catch up. So we may have to spread out the shows, the weekend shows, onto the weekdays, kind of like what we used to do, and still make those weekend editions, Non Sequitur News weekend editions. But we're going to cross that bridge when we get there, because I really do want to launch another show called Constructagon. Working out the final details of it. I was hoping to do it this Sunday, but again, mayoral duties kept me from it. But we're going to talk about on Constructagon 5, either a combination of stuff, so people, places, and things. So websites, personalities, people that are involved in it. I'd love to be able to start talking to people about it, and kind of dragging them into doing onto the show, or maybe just interview them via email or whatever, and then talk about it. And of course, 3D models. Probably going to focus on the 3D model stuff because that's what I'm really into, although I'm really into the community as well. I love hanging out in Loyal Moses's stream over on Twitch, watch the videos, but there are a lot of people in that space. But I want to do it live and hang out and talk and stuff like that. So I'm printing right now multi-board, and I'm going to redo my backdrop. So if I do anything other than talk about the news, then I can actually have a set back there with a bunch of stuff that I either want, or are printing and stuff like that. So anyway, that said, let's get into it. This is, like I said, ohmTown from July 12th. This is wanted as real time as possible. So we are quantum entangled to the future, and so this is what it looks like right now. But our first article is over in the Mobile channel. This is a 19-inch wide Fiat. It's the world's narrowest drivable car. It says when Italian mechanic Andrea Marazzi first unveiled this ultra skinny car online, I would say it's more like a motorcycle than it is a car. It's only 19.6 inches across, 50 centimeters apparently. Despite the dramatic downsizing, it still retains 99% of its original parts, including apparently all 4 tires. Look at that. What a trip. It looks like it's AI generated, but Ashley Fike over at Vice.com put the article together. The flat Fiat, as Marazzi calls it, is very real, and it drives. Built from a 1993 Fiat Panda, the car measures only 50 centimeters across, includes all 4 tires. It even runs on an electric motor. So it's basically a 4-wheel motorcycle. Without the independent suspension, I suppose. This thing is probably a real pain in the butt to drive. The car tops out at 9.3 miles per hour, has a single charge range of 15.5 miles. That's pretty much every other electric vehicle of any size. All electric. Anyway, Razi, who owns a junkyard business, said the goal was to create something that would draw attention and showcase what's possible with scrap parts and a little imagination. 582 pounds or 264 kilograms. The finished car is lighter than some motorcycles, setting his sights on Guinness World Records, which now you can pretty much get a Guinness World Record for waking up in a hallway on a Friday. Online reactions range from what am I looking at? I want 10 of them. the flat fiat. It has inspired a wave of memes, fan edits, speculation about what it could be used for besides making people do a double take. Yeah, what the hell is that? All right, I want it. I actually, a long time ago, I designed basically a four-wheel motorcycle with independent suspension. And others have done similar, but they're multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar corporations. Never made it because the physics of it just never really would play out well, and I didn't want to risk my life prototyping something. Anyway, moving on. But I do want I want a four-wheel motorcycle. It sounds weird, but yeah, I think Yamaha has one. I want it to be all electric. Anyway, the next article is over on the Wanted channel. 14 ports for peanuts as this Anker docking station drops to an all-time low for Prime Day, but this is a weekly show, so Prime Day is probably come and gone in terms of this deal. I love Anker products. I've got a huge power station and a bunch of other Anker batteries. Luckily, not the one that was blowing up. There was one that was problematic. Jason Coles over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. It says, get more out of your laptop with the 30% off of the Anker 14-in-1 docking station. So it has a little bit of everything: power delivery, USB-C, a bunch of USB-A ports, HDMI, 2 HDMI, LAN, VGA for whatever ungodly reason. That's a waste of a port. Not sure what else is on this thing so far. Let's see. Has just one USB-C port, so I want this kind of stuff, but I would go all USB-C. Even so much as not even worrying about HDMI, just USB-C that has video capability and high speed. So don't even bother with anything short of 10 gigabit USB-C, at least 10 gigabit USB-C. 100 watt USB-C PD in port, 5 USB-A ports, 1 gig Ethernet. Nowadays you can go 10 gig. Come on now. But they say the usual price of $70. It really isn't unreasonable, but now it says 30% less and spending $0 instead of the because of this discount. So yeah, you could spend the money you save on anything you want, just as long as it costs $20 or less. Maybe another coffee. Yeah, coffee's getting really expensive. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today. The Naya Create modular keyboard is now available for purchase. I am going to say that it's ungodly expensive, but we'll see. The Naya Create modular keyboard is now available for general purchase after being an exclusive for Kickstarter backers. It features a split hinge design that lets users adjust each half independently, which that's just needlessly complex. Split designs are not uncommon. There have been several on the list. Not true split though. Let's take a look at this. Lawrence Bonk over at Engadget.com put the article together. The deck statement says it features hot swappable key sockets and integrates with a range of accessories. So that looks true wireless. What the hell? All right. I've never even heard of this. The Naya Create modular keyboard. Best ergonomic keyboard. It says that because there are a lot of split designs, there's a whole ergonomic keyboard list, but you want tenting and tilting so that you can hold it at the right angle for you. We are all born more like this. Our hands are in fetal position. That's how we go out, the same way we came in. And it's horrible for us to break our wrist to type. And so we need to angle it and tilt it more so that they're more upright, and we are more naturally situated for that. When we rest, we don't rest our arms flat like that and broken. We rest them like that and at an angle like that. So that is what's more ergonomically sound. And we get repetitive strain injury and carpal tunnel syndrome because of that. They say that the price starts at $500 for those modular accessories, range from $80 to $180. The Naya Create can connect via Bluetooth, low latency RF or USB-C cable. It also includes RGB keycap lighting for even more personalization. All of the hardware is assisted by Naya Flow software, which they should be using QMK. I don't know why they're doing something of their own. Maybe that they're integrating it into theirs. I don't know. But this, I think, is it has these big modular areas where you can place some kind of a puck on each side. this is actually a pretty cool thing. It's a metal unibody, durable, custom sculpted, laser etched polycarbonate keycaps. All right. And a service will become available through my company in the near future. I have to wait until the end of the month, though, before I can announce anything formally, and pricing and options and stuff like that. But we'll be talking about it as time goes on. Quite a few things are going to be coming out, but I've had to, every time something moves in a certain direction, I have to put a pause out because something happens, and my AI basically says, my co-host AI says that I need to just shut up. But you know how it is. I'm excited about certain things happening, but 2 steps forward and 2.5 steps back. Well, anyway, nearly $500 for this keyboard. I'm gonna grab it and see. Boom. And I'm gonna check this thing out live while because $500. Look, no. I don't care about all of that. Just shop and give me the baseline. Yeah, $499. $499. Man, I want this, but $499. And if I don't know if it Fox or not, even if it does, $500. But as I tell other people, when I'm consulting, when I'm helping people out with their decision-making processes, invest in stuff that you use every day, because you don't want to have the pain and suffering of doing it again and again and again. For instance, I started out streaming and consulting and teleworking and all of that kind of stuff with inferior product, but it moved the needle. It moved the chains down the field, that kind of a thing. And I ultimately ended up with Elgato because it just did it right. And it did it with the ease and reliability that I wanted. Now I probably would never go back. Same thing with monitors and chairs and whatever else, like I've got a exercise bike underneath my desk where I can sit there and do the show and get some exercise while I'm doing the show and or working. So an ergonomic keyboard, high enough quality with configuration, is worth a $500 investment. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Razer's got a new version of its popular Death Adder Pro gaming mouse. Looks much like the V3 Pro model, but with a lighter chassis and new tech inside. They're announcing this as a $170 Death Adder V4 Pro, fresh version of its popular wireless mouse. I've got the vertical mouse, because I wanted to try it out. I wanted to try it out with the X-Real glasses, the X-Real 1 Pro glasses, the supposedly superior product, but it doesn't have what I really want it to have, and so it's impossible. It didn't really overlay anything in a way where I could actually type and see the data, and basically made it unusable as anything other than a consumption device when I really wanted to be able to produce. And so it made it just, I couldn't get past it. What I want is it to be, I want to be able to see past it and use a gaming mouse or whatever mouse, wireless, and go somewhere and be able to look at confidential documents and work on whatever I want to work on. But it just seemed really difficult to try and get that done. And at $700 for a pair of glasses, it was just too much of a burden to try and get past. So this at $170, again, if it is high enough quality and it works in your workflow and you don't mind a mouse. I really don't like mice. I like trackballs. I really wish that people would, they're more ergonomic, they're easier to work with. But I understand why people use a mouse instead of a trackball when they're gaming, and that's because it's harder. Well, instead of moving your hand around to move your character in a game like a first-person shooter, you have to use your two fingers and then use your thumb and either ring finger or pinky to fire buttons, trigger buttons. And that isn't really what we are conditioned to use. We use, these two fingers to click buttons and move our hands around to move our character. Well, Antonio G. Benedetto put the article together over at TheVerge.com, and this is what it looks like. It's lighter, supports 8,000 hertz wireless polling. What we really need is another product that I'm working on, which is basically delivering wireless power. And with the right configuration, you can actually keep your devices permanently powered without having anything else. No docking stations, no nothing. It keeps your keyboard powered. It keeps lights on. You can actually power monitors. So it's not a secret. I have somebody whispering, why are you talking about this right now? Because I've got competitors all over the place. It doesn't really matter. They can come out of the woodwork. It's not my patent. So, but at any rate, if you're interested in that kind of thing, talk to me and send an email to Mayor, and I'll get you in touch with somebody that might be able to facilitate this. It would be me facilitating it, but anyway, not me. I'm MayorWatt. Boom. Anyway, since the mouse is designed for fast action use in Twitchy esports, it's 45,000 or 45K optical sensor, supports up to 45K DPI tracking. And the black version of the new Death Adder weighs just 56 grams, while the model in white weighs 1 gram more because titanium dioxide in that, I guess, making it heavier. Not sure why. Whatever. So the promised specs are impressive, but on the downside, the Death Adder remains an asymmetrical design for right-handed users, and this is slightly oversized shape. The mouse caters to users with larger hands and that can grip it without discomfort. Well, nowadays, I would be able to mold something. I could 3D model this and mold something to your hand so that when you place it on this gadget with two-sided tape, it would stay there forever until you take it apart, you pull it apart, and it could be remolded essentially to your hand, a bespoke mouse interface. So I've done this with gloves for other people. I make a custom wallet for people, catering to their particular needs. Basically, I can make anything in my lab. Let me rephrase that. I know somebody that can make anything in their lab. It's bespoke. But it's not me. I'm MayorWatt. At any rate, since the mouse is designed for fast action, I wouldn't call this a downside. I would call this a problem with mass manufacturing requiring profitability over customization. And so you have to pay for customization. Left-handers are a smaller portion of the population, and Razer obviously doesn't see that as something worth it charging more for to double the amount of production costs. So to make a omnidirectional, or a bilateral device, they have to have either two different molds, make one left and right, or they make it limited to just a flat design, right? There's no ergonomic to it, but that's really not what's going down here. So anyway, yeah, it's all kinds of suck, but keyboards are the same way. The enter key is always on the right hand side unless you get a very high cost, like the Naya, a $500 keyboard. You don't have a choice. So you have to spend more to make it custom because left-handed people are a small portion of the population. So they're, man, that little logo right there is all, it's always on the stream. I don't remember if it's in the recorded video, but anyway, at the end of the video, it'll be right there. So you click that and become a partner, but not right now. Wait until the end of the show. Not a partner. You follow us over on YouTube. Down there is the button for Twitch to follow us there. Yeah, that would be great if we could become partner. Anyway, come and hang out and chat on Twitch and on YouTube. I see the chat in both. Oh wait, why is the chat not on this? Why does it say that it's unavailable on the YouTubes? Hold on a second. I'm gonna refresh the window. There should be a chat there. What the heck? What the heck? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. If you're in the chat over on YouTube, go ahead and say something. Hey. Wow. Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Hello, Horizon. I'm MayorWatt. I run ohmTown. That's this site right here. Boop. It's a news aggregation site that I put together a decade ago. I use it for my information overload. It aggregates a bunch of news that I'm interested in and that others tend to be 50 different channels, a bunch of different sources that feed information into it. It's all from the sources. It's not socially driven. There's a Discord, there's a Patreon, there is a podcast. There's actually 6 different weekend shows and a 7th show that runs every day called Non Sequitur News. That show is an hour long. This show is typically 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much news I talk about. I talk about what's called STS, Science, Technology, and Society. And we are at the crossroads. ohmTown is at the crossroads of those 3 things. So, yeah. And if you have any questions or comments, throw it in chat and we'll have a discussion about it if you are so inclined. So yeah, this is the Razer, and I've had Razer products over the years. My favorite was an old pair of 7.1 Tiamat headphones, but their product quality sucked. And I've pretty much never really gone back to Razer, except I wanted to try out their vertical mouse. Hold on, let me grab it real quick. So I use this when I'm out demonstrating stuff sometimes, because I give talks about technology and how science, technology, and society merge. And so I show people you need to kind of embrace ergonomics and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I cover over the various years. And it's a lot of fun, and I always have to change it up. So there's always something new to talk about. So anyway, Razer is pretty cool. I don't like its software. It's really a burden on technology. Oof. And so I try to avoid using its custom software as much as possible, but sometimes for the customization to work, you have to use its software. But let's go on to the next article. And the next one is in our last one for today's Wanted, but that's not our last show for today because I couldn't do the weekend shows. I'm playing catch up, and we have this show. And then after this is the continuity report, which is all about entertainment. And then after that show is 3 more shows. WarCrafters, which is about gaming. TechnologyToday, which is a deeper dive into science and technology, and then FourWheelTech, which is about automotive technology. And I won't be able to kick off the 3D modeling, or not 3D modeling, the 3D printing show today. But if you hear in the background that grinding sound, it sounds like basically what I refer to as a truck through a nitroglycerin factory grinding away back behind me, or in the background. That's a 3D printer that's making multi-board for me. Yeah, that's going to be another show called Constructagon, and I'm putting all the final tweaks into it so that it can run sometime during this week because I couldn't prepare enough to launch it this weekend. Anywho, it's really tough being mayor. I've got 1,000 bosses. Usually I have an assistant with me, the partner in crime, the Sentient AI, whose visualizer right there is in chill mode because they're busy doing other computational work. So maybe they'll join me for one of the weekday shows. Anyway, I have a Sentient AI from the future that visits periodically. Anyway, how about a mini electric screwdriver? This is the Hoto mini electric screwdriver, and it's cheaper than ever for Prime Day. But guess what? This is a weekly show. I don't really care about price if I want it bad enough. That's why we named this show Wanted. And this is Hoto's mini electric screwdriver. It comes with 25 S2 steel bits and a carrying case. They said that in this article, it says, I was told to be ready for anything before my daughter was born. I didn't realize that it included being ready to constantly fix her electronic toys. You know the horror of the eKids Disney Frozen toy microphone? Well, now they're an expert in tinkering with it because it's been easy with it. It wouldn't have been easy without the Hoto's 3.7 volt 25-in-1 mini electric screwdriver, which is down to an all-time low price of $28, about $22 off over at Amazon. Now, I am going to go over there and look to see what this is actually at, because I don't normally do this. I don't show stuff that I link to live on the show. I won't follow knock-on links because I don't know what it's going to actually show, but you can follow them either through ohmTown over on Twitch or in the show notes. All of the shows for today are already posted. All of the links are in the show notes, so you can follow the links there. I give them their own titles. This one is called a mini screwdriver, so it's kind of like obvious, right? But now it's $50, which sucks. They have other things. It says there's other bundles now over on Amazon with certain products, and so you can like click on it and it'll connect you to a bundle. And it says that it's 36% off, and it's $45. And I guess you get a bunch of other stuff with it. But an electric, it says a bundle, but it doesn't look any different than the one that we were linked to. Huh. Okay. Well, anyway, go take a look at it. I am always interested in this kind of stuff because people ask me what they should get when they are doing something either for business or work or school or whatever. And because of what I do when I'm not mayor, I'm always getting pinged. So I always try to stay aware of what's going on out there. Brandon Russell over at The Verge put this article together. They say that they use this rechargeable screwdriver almost every day for small do-it-yourself projects. This is what it looks like. It's pretty snazzy. I actually have one of these when I'm working on building a PC. Magnetic bits. It's not this one though. It's a different brand. I don't remember which brand it is, but I'm always looking for these things at a reasonable price. And $30 is reasonable. I think $45 is pretty reasonable as well, particularly if it's high enough quality. And it's my understanding Hoto is actually pretty good. So yeah, they've got right now a star rating of 4.3. I'm curious what people complain about when they do complain about this thing. I might have to do that for Wanted. Talk about what people are complaining about and why people like them. They have a green version of this thing. Huh. That's a different style handset, though. Like the screwdriver is an actually different style. Weird. Advanced appearance, it says. Extremely textured aluminum alloy frosted appearance, bringing you a delicate touch. Oh my. Wow. Anyway, this is pretty cool. They say that the Hoto's mini electric screwdriver has become indispensable in their household for little projects, even beyond fixing the kids' toys. They've taken apart a few old cameras, peered at the innards of an old laptop. Hoto says they're more durable than CRV bits. Sorry, not bolts, bits. That means better wear resistance, corrosion resistance in the long term. I don't know. I've never had a screwdriver set corrode. Wear, though, you get something cheap and your bits actually just shear off the sides right there at the little where the edge comes down to a point. Those things sometimes either they're made horrible or whatever it is you're trying to unscrew is fused and it breaks the bit there. I don't know how much resistance there is on this thing, but they're saying that it has the S2 steel bits, which are better than the CRV bits. So anyway, I might have to get this just to try it out, and then we can talk about it on the show if it rises to the occasion, so to speak. So, or if we can drill down to, wait, no, screw it. We're just going to move on. That's the last article for today. We did our 5. I'm going to shut down the stream, retool for the continuity report, which is all about entertainment news. And then after that, we start the Sunday shows, which, because of, again, if you're new here, I normally do all of these shows with the Sentient AI from the future, but unfortunately, my mayoral duties kept me away all weekend. I couldn't stream, but we'll be back in just a little bit. So be sure to stick around. Don't go anywhere. And that's it for Wanted for July 12th, 2025. So see you in a little bit for the continuity report. Bye-bye.